Welcome to Wicked Pixelated presents What Is This, a Crossover Episode? With me, a nudist, and today's crossover special, it's Graydon!
Hello!
Hey, bud.
Hi, Internet. It's been a while.
It has been a while.
It has. I haven't been on the revamped show yet.
I don't think anyone has yet. The last
Really?
Yeah, I mean, since, we started this year, the first 3 or 4 episodes, it's just been me and Mike.
Wow. Setting the bar real low.
Yeah. The last episode we recorded before that was probably in November, and I think it was with Zach, but
yeah.
The shit didn't save, so it's just that's an episode gone to the abyss.
I think I was on the last episode of the old version, which was the one that got all messed up, and he would released it as 9 minutes of warped
yeah
backwards noise.
That was a close to 2-hour episode too.
Yeah,
and then it all just got lost.
'Cause that's what you were really good at, was just filming good quality shows for a long amount of time and then losing it all.
Yeah, it's a bummer. It's a real bummer. Anyways, welcome to this new show called What Is This, a Crossover. Currently, if you are listening to this and if it goes up in a timely manner, Mike's computer or laptop or whatever is not working. So, in order for me to fill the void of no Wicked Pixelated, because I want to stay true to do more podcasts, and now I have this desk and I'm doing stuff, and I feel slightly more legitimate and organized with all this, I figured I'd do this show and get a bunch of other people in front. Dude, I've been feeling really adult lately.
Yeah.
I bought this desk, I bought a mattress, and I'm just yeah. I got my income tax and I paid off credit cards. I'm like, God, I'm a fucking adult.
Damn. I got a credit card.
Oh, how fun is that?
Last week. It's not fun at all because it's the PlayStation one.
Dude, I got it too.
I just wanted the $50 gift card.
Dude, me too.
but I don't like the 24% interest rate. So
so I got it at a decent time. I got my PlayStation credit card. What a weird topic. I think maybe October. And they had that promotion while it was still new that there was no interest rate until I think just a few days ago of this month.
Yeah, mine's not till August, I think. It doesn't start.
Oh, maybe that's what it was for me then. Maybe it was just that 6-month period.
Yeah.
But anywho's, up until then, it's been pretty cool because I'm good with my money, so all I did was just put shit on the credit card that I knew I could pay off almost instantly. So with that, I made some big purchases. I bought this new monitor for $400. I'm put it on the card, and then I just paid it off. But anyways,
wow.
Within this maybe 4 or 5 month period I've had it, I've already earned enough points to get a $50 PSN card.
Wow.
So I'm hey, if that means I get a $50 in PSN every 4 months, that's a pretty decent deal. If I use it that much.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't looked much into the what the rewards are and stuff, but I'm hoping that there's a way that you can pay for the Plus subscription.
Yeah, there is.
Because the $60 really kind of pisses me the hell off.
Really?
I just had to redo the PlayStation and my PlayStation and Xbox, and that's $100 you just gotta shell out for. I mean, it's worth it.
For sure.
But it's just, I mean, now it's going to become less worth it once they start taking out PS3 and Vita games. That's very sad. But that's next year, right, is when that happens?
Yeah, I think so. I think they said next March, which I thought it was crazy of them to announce it a full year beforehand. I was I thought you'd give us a 2-month warning. But
right.
Fine, full year's fine.
Yeah, start me getting scared now. Because what are they going to do? Just go to PS4 and VR games.
Yeah, I think that that's just going to be kind of money that they're saving so that they can hopefully shell out the money to get better PS4 and VR games for free. Because that was actually what I was going to ask you was, how would you compare the free games between Xbox and PS4? Because I only use PS4, so I don't know like how good your games are. But
right.
We got like Conch Poop a few months ago. I was like,
I love that Conch Poop game.
Yeah,
wait, for PlayStation?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had played it was the movie game, right?
Yeah,
like the actual.
It was like a fighting game, almost like a Smash style, where you're jumping
Oh
around.
wait, that was free?
Yeah.
Because I paid money for that.
Oh man.
And I've been playing that nonstop. Like that actually is like an okay game.
Oh man, see, I played it. Well, see here, I'm basing it off the fact that I'm like a trophy whore. So I looked at the trophies, and obviously it's like, oh, beat this thing on Legendary. So I jumped into it on Legendary without even like getting good with any characters and just died and lost. And I'm like, I don't want to do this.
Oh.
It was like win 1,000 multiplayer matches. I'm not gonna play this game 1,000 times.
No, I just got like a shit ton of party games. Like I got Gang Beasts, I got Ultimate Chicken Horse, and then I got that Kung Fu Panda thing. Like my sister played like crazy. I went over a friend's house the other day and brought my PlayStation, and we were playing that. It's like it's not good because it's not Smash.
Exactly.
But every character, I mean, like you have the Crane is just completely Meta Knight. Like it's just a clone in every sense of the word for Smash. Mm-hmm. But it's not terrible. Like it's dumb fun. But I didn't know that was free. But anyway, back to the topic.
Yeah.
No, but with the Xbox, I find myself nowadays, especially getting games that I already have. So as time goes on, it becomes this thing like, oh, they're just scraping the bottom of the barrel. Because Xbox has been doing that longer than PlayStation has, right? Giving out free games.
I think PlayStation has been doing it longer.
It has? Because you didn't used to have to pay Plus. You pay for PS3. You didn't have to pay for internet, right?
You didn't have to pay for Plus on PS3, but you still got free games on PS3.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't have a PS3, so I didn't know how that worked.
Oh yeah, but, so you gotta think that was like the first 3 years of PlayStation Plus was just a free subscription and actual free games.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and then once it came to PS4 and then they added a price tag, then people started saying, well, technically they're not free, and it's like, well, technically they used to be, so shut up.
Right, and it's a good deal. Like if you're a Vita guy, which I am, you have one, right?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. It's a ton of games. It's a ton, and then I got my PS3 because I had so many games, and PS4 still isn't properly backwards compatible, so I just had to get a PS3. And but yeah, there's a ton of games, and I'm still going through them and things that I've never played before. So I mean, I suppose I like Plus better than Xbox, but now I don't. Now I prefer where Xbox is going with the original Xbox games.
Yeah, their Gamestop Past thing's freaking awesome.
Yeah, instead of PlayStation going towards VR, because I still don't have that. So,
here's a segue
having
for you,
that
Graydon.
Future might be good. What?
I said I got a good segue for you since you just mentioned VR.
Yeah.
I got my desk in my room, so all my shit's way more organized, and I have more space in my room. I started screwing around with VR again, and I bought a bunch of games, and I've just been playing Super Hot and Moss. I picked those games up.
Super Hot's so good.
Oh my God.
Super Hot would be great in VR.
Super Hot is great. I was just playing casually, and then I got a trophy for burning 1,000 calories, and I was just like, oh my God, why are you keeping track of this?
And I don't replay games a lot, but Super Hot is one that I think I'll go back to a lot because it's just, I mean, every time it's different. Mm-hmm. And in VR it would be great. I mean, I just played PlayStation VR for the first time last week because one of my friends got it, and I hadn't tried VR since the Oculus test that the Dream, I forget what it was even called at the time, one of the dev kits at PAX, And but no, like I tried it with the Move controllers and stuff, and I think I did. We had done the Paranormal Activity game, which was crazy scary.
I almost bought that too.
It's spooky, and then the VR Worlds or whatever, the one with the London heist and the shark thing.
Yeah.
Like it's fun. I don't see it as a very. I just don't see it as a practical thing to like break out and just play any game with it. Mm-hmm. But I think that it's a fun thing. Like, oh, I have people like it's like a rock band or something. Like, it's not something that you just have for yourself, but for parties, it's a nice thing to have.
Yeah.
Or
I think that's one of the cool things that like Shuhei, like when VR first launched, was they were very upfront with it being like, hey, this is like Gen 1 VR. Like, there's going to be problems, we're going to work through it. And that's always my first comment when people say, like, how is VR? I always tell them, I'm like, the future's not wireless. Like, plugging it in is like a fucking snake pile of cables. And I guess the new model VR kind of simplifies it with one less cable. But I hope that obviously we get to that point where it's not as big. And it's just
it is weird that it's wireless.
Yeah,
because when you're spinning all around and stuff, and you're just getting wound up in it, and like there was one we were playing where you're just turning all the time. It was just like it seemed really stupid to have a cord. But does the Oculus have a cord?
Oculus, I don't think so. I think it goes off of a USB. Whereas, like, the PS4 requires, like, this entire processor thing separate.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's a fun thing to have, and I would definitely get one because it's proven to me that it works and it's cool. Mm-hmm. But it's I find it pretty expensive for right now. I mean, I'm still looking for... I loved my Kinect. Like, that. I was one of the people who absolutely loved it. And I mean, I'm still looking for one for the for the Xbox One, but that was obviously cheaper and didn't do as much. But the PlayStation VR seems like a thing that I will definitely get down the road, and maybe that'll make the Plus seem more worth it as time goes on. If all they're giving me is PS4 and VR games. But like for now, looking ahead, I'm like, I don't know if I'll have a VR within a year, and then will it be worth it? So. I have to take it month by month.
Keep stockpiling on all those free games, because that's what I did before I had a Vita. I was collecting the free games on PlayStation Plus.
Yeah.
So when I finally got a Vita, I was like, cool, I have all these games. Like, I hope people are doing that with VR. Just download it. If for whatever reason you get a VR even 4 years down the line, that's like a pile of games that you'll already have ready.
I hope people have done it with Vita games too, because if you don't have a Vita, you're really missing out.
See, I'm so lazy, like, because I only have my PS4 plugged in, and I haven't claimed my free PS3 and Vita games, and Vita games more recently, but I haven't claimed the free PS3 games for at least over a year.
You don't download them?
That's the thing, because I never use my phone to, like...
I just have the PlayStation app, and then you just go to the free games and just add them all to your cart and get them at the beginning of the month.
Yep, I never do that. I keep forgetting, or I'm too lazy, because my only access to the PlayStation Store is like, where's the PS4? That's what's there.
Well, with Xbox, it's not as easy as that, because Xbox has, like, from this time to this day, it's going to be this game. And then it changes, like, halfway through the month.
Oh, yeah. That's
so I kind of rely on my friend who I game share with to get them all. So I've probably missed a lot over the past. But then you get those things where, like, oh, I bought this game on PlayStation, but now I'm getting it for free on Xbox. So do I even bother going out of my way to download it so then I can have it digitally? Because what if something happens to the disc? Like, I'm not a big digital person.
See, I'm not either. I'm with you. I'm more physical, but I'm actually facing that problem this month with the free games being Bloodborne and Ratchet. I'm like, great games. I already have them physically, but it's just like...
Yeah, me too.
If I really want to make, like, a quick $25, I can sell them. Like, I'll already have them digitally, but then I'm like, but then that takes away from, like, the games I can see.
Yeah. No, I keep getting emails from GameStop being like, hey, you have $40 worth of trade-in value, and I'm like, what? Nobody has that. And then it's like, Ratchet and Clank is still like $15 trade-in value.
Is it? Oh,
like,
that's a good deal.
I better get rid of it. Yeah, it's always Ratchet and Clank, like Happy Home Designer, which I had bought for my sister, and then I don't know, something else. It's always, but even like Mario games always have a high trade value to them because they still sell like GameCube Mario games for like $40. Mario games never go down in price. It's ridiculous.
I'm gonna segue into a pretty cool topic, so just follow me on this journey. We were talking about the Nintendo Direct before the show, right? Because you just got home from work, you haven't seen it yet.
Right, yeah.
One of the things I forgot to mention, the friggin' Crash trilogy is coming to Switch.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, that's so freaking cool, because now that that's on Switch, it's like just that little nudge to get Crash Bandicoot and Smash Brothers.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's so crazy.
It would be really weird because, I mean, even like having Sonic in there was always a weird thing
Even
because
Snake.
you look back. Yeah, even him. Like, but like with Sonic, like that was a thing that existed where Sega was a thing that was making consoles and actually being its own entity and fighting Mario, and then they were both in the same game. But like, if you put Crash in there, like that, Crash is just always a PlayStation mascot to me. Like, I will never really see him as anything else, even though he's had games on Xbox. Like, he had things like that just seems like Sonic became a Nintendo thing once Sega consoles died out and you were just waiting for him to show up.
Yeah.
But for Crash, like, that would just seem really weird to me.
I feel like if he stayed relevant, it would be like more jarring, but the fact that he's fallen off years ago, if he shows up in Smash, like, no one would really care. It would just kind of be like oh, cool. That's how I felt when, like, Pac-Man was in there. I was like, oh, cool.
Oh, yeah, Pac-Man was weird in there, too. Like, what if you have Crash and, like, one of my friends made a joke about Crash and Mario Kart. It's like, then you get weren't they going to remaster Tag Team Racing or whatever it was, Crash Racing, the kart game he had?
People were hoping for it, like, oh, it's probably going to be like a downloadable thing, it'll be a DLC, or, yeah. I really didn't think they had any plans beyond the original trilogy. But I'm going to go ahead and segue, because you're more of a Spyro guy, right?
I am much more of a Spyro guy.
So let's turn back the clock for this crossover episode and get to know you. So, like, what's your gaming, like, what got you into games? Like, what were you playing as a kid?
I grew up with a PS1 primarily. I didn't have I never had, like, a Nintendo system until the Wii, which I think I got the Christmas that the Wii came out. But I never had a GameCube, I never had an N64 or anything. I had a PS1, I had a Dreamcast. And Dreamcast was actually, like, one of my big things, too. But it was, I don't know, it was my dad always got me into gaming. He had the, growing up, then he got the PS2, and, like, which I wasn't allowed to touch, but, like...
Was it too many mature games on the PS2 for you?
No, I don't know, it was just his thing, and then, like, even over time, like, I got my own PS2, but it was always like, oh, don't touch it. Like, he's just... I don't know, I missed out on certain games, but I watched him play, like, Shadow of the Colossus and, like, things growing up, so I knew of these games. And then the Wii was, like, my first thing, except for, like, handhelds. I mean, I did have, like, Game Boys growing up and stuff, but broke a couple of those. But
it's crazy you mentioned the whole, like, you watched him play through the PS2 generation, but you didn't really experience it until, like, later. Like,
yeah.
I felt that way, obviously, different age gap, but with the PlayStation 1, because at that age, like, I didn't understand the complexities of, like, RPGs, so
yeah.
I would just, like, sit and watch my brother play Final Fantasy 8 and 9, and Chrono Cross, and be like, this is all cool to watch, but I would never understand this.
He kind of played some Final Fantasies. He was more into, like, I remember he did a lot of, like, Wild Arms was a thing that he was into. He'd played Kingdom Hearts for a long amount of time, and that was something that, like, he would play after, like, we all went to bed, so then I would kind of, like, walk back into the living room and see him playing and just kind of sit there and watch. Yeah, I'm just, like, trying to think of other things that he did, but it was, he did do a lot of, like, JRPGs, weird things, but, I mean, I didn't really follow in that path of JRPG stuff. I like some Final Fantasies. I mean, I don't like 7 at all. I think 8 is my favorite, but
hell yeah.
But then
hell yeah.
But then I went back to PS1. Like as I got older, I would then go back and do things. And fast forward to like now, where I have my TV in my room, and then I've got like all the systems underneath, and I inherited the Dreamcast and a PS1, and I got a PS2, and so now I'm going back and playing all these games and seeing like, oh, what was Killzone like back then, and God of Wars and stuff. That was one that he played a lot too.
So how does it feel like? So you're playing like all these PS2 games and stuff, like around what time? Like, is the PS3 already out at this time?
When I was playing PS2?
Yeah, like when you finally like inherited all these games and stuff, and then you said you're going back to experiencing.
Well, PS1 I more like played before anything, because we ended up having like 3 or 4 PS1s in our house just from random. My uncle got rid of his, and then we got it, and then like there was like a PS1 in every room. So I did play that a lot, and we just had the spindles of all the games and stuff, and so that's where like I found myself playing Spyro, and I think I didn't have a PS3. I definitely had a 360 at the time. But I had, like, the 360 in the living room. That was, like, our thing, current stuff. And then I had, in my room, this tiny little, like, 20-inch TV, and I would just play, like, Spyro on it, or, I don't know, or other little things. I mean, I'm trying to look at all my games by my wall, and I can't see any of them. But, just, like, smaller little, things that I remembered him playing and being like, oh, I wanted to play those too, but like Resident Evils and stuff. Mm-hmm. But even though I'm not really into like horror games, I just wanted to try these out because I remembered them being a big part of my childhood. Mm-hmm. And then I got the PS2.
When it came to that like PS2, because obviously you mentioned that you had like a Dreamcast and an Xbox and Game Boys and everything. I was very much like a console loyalist, where I've been PlayStation and always been PlayStation. I've had an original Xbox and a GameCube. Like, those were the last systems from other brands that I owned, and even then, it was like my brother's, and I only played like a few games. I loved Halo on Xbox, but because I never owned a 360, I never really got into it, like 3 and Gears and all these other like big mainstays in Xbox now.
Yeah.
But, like, with all these systems in mind, how did you take the whole console war phase of, like, school when people were like, no, 360's better?
Well, I hung around more with more console versus PC people. Oh. So it wasn't really like this, consoles fighting each other. Like, to me, it was always like, why can't, like, they're all just, they looked at it as consoles as a whole weren't what a PC could do. So, I mean, I've always been a console loyalist instead of in the PC versus console war. But yeah, I cannot sit in front of a computer and play a game. I just can't do it. I've tried to do it. I can't get into it. I've tried like gaming on my laptop and just find it dull. Like, it's just not the same as holding a controller and doing it. But even though, yes, you can plug a controller into a computer and do all this stuff, but like, it's just not the same to me. Like, I just feel this. Yeah.
No, sorry. Go ahead, man.
No, I feel like a console was built for doing gaming, and that it should be the thing doing it best. Okay. And even though, a PC can you can make it look better or whatever, but nothing beats like sitting down and playing a game on this thing that is for games.
Like, that's why I'm glad I got this set up, because I've installed a couple games from Steam and from like Humble Bundles where they just gave out free games and shit. But I subscribed to one of the months, January, because it gave out Quantum Break, and I was like, oh hey, here's a really good Xbox One game, and I have a high-end PC that could run it just as good, if not better. And I'm like, if I'm gonna play this, I'm gonna play it with a freaking PS4 controller. Like I played Forza Horizon, not PlayStation Horizon. But I played a demo of that. Controller? No, it was on PC, Forza Horizon. But
but did you play it with a PlayStation controller?
Yeah, I just hooked up my PS4 controller, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so natural. Like, R2 is the throttle, like, I already know what E-brake is and stop. So.
Like, I've kind of... That's why I like testing or playing all the different consoles, because I've found that, like, for me, driving is best for Xbox games, like, with the controller. I just find that trigger more natural for, like, doing driving things.
Agreed.
But then, like, shooting is Xbox. It's PlayStation, sorry. Shooting is more a PlayStation thing. Like, it's just the triggers work better for... It just makes more sense to me.
I feel like a lot of racing games, you're holding down R2, and with, like, the trigger, your finger stays there, but with, like, on the PS4 controller, like, if you're holding down R2 for too long, your finger starts, like, sliding off.
Right. I mean, I really love the Xbox One, like, I mean, I've always liked the Xbox controller build. Like, just the way that it feels natural, and the Xbox One, the way it, like, curves and your finger just fits there, it's comfortable. But I do like all the things that the PlayStation controller does with the speaker and the touchpad and things. Like, I really do love games like that. So there have been times where I'll get a game, like, that's my biggest problem is third-party things, like, what do I get them on? And it kind of depends. Like, there was one of the ones that I had bought, I remember, was Oxenfree. Do you remember that indie game?
Actually, I recently bought that too. Haven't played it yet though.
I just played it. I was like, I had mono a couple months ago, and I was just like playing game after game, and I went through that. I went through Unravel finally. I played quite a few like little indie things, just being in bed all the time, and that was one that I think was free with Xbox, but I had bought it on PlayStation, and I just chose to play it on PlayStation because it had the speaker. Like a big part of it is having a radio, and the radio will come out of the speaker that you're holding in your controller, and it's just like, it just feels like you're part of the game. Like, I just think that the PlayStation controller really does it better for the gaming experience, whereas Xbox is more like natural playing. So, but it's, I don't know, it changes. Like, I get most of my shooters on, even though I prefer them on PlayStation, I end up getting them on Xbox because my friend will buy them, like Call of Duties and things like that.
Yeah, and you kind of have to go to where, like, the population is. Like, if most of your friends have an Xbox, then you might as well... It's like, well, if I want to play this multiplayer game with friends, might as well get it here.
Yeah.
If it's just, like, a single-player game, it's like, oh, I don't need to worry about who I'm friends with.
That's how I got into 360, was because just hearing people at school constantly talking about, like, I think it was... like, Modern Warfare 2 is where I really kind of broke down and, like, had to get a 360, because that was what everyone was talking about. And so I got that. Was Black Ops after Modern Warfare 2?
I don't keep track of that crazy order of theirs.
I think it was, because I ended up getting my Xbox on Black Ops launch night. And
oh, that was the other announcement that happened today. Black Ops 4.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if I'm excited about.
It's hard to tell with 30 seconds of just, like, seizure montage, like newspaper clippings.
Yeah. I mean, are you a Call of Duty person?
So, I'm really, like, I'm looking at my Call of Duty games and I'm like, man, it's so weird that I own them. Because I used to be, like, adamantly against Call of Duty. Like, I was, like, one of those, like, snobs. It's just like, it's the same game every year.
Yeah.
And then, my thing is that I didn't like Modern Warfare. Like, I don't like modern stuff, like realistic based stuff for the most part. So once Black Ops 2 came out and it introduced like a little bit more sci-fi, I was like, alright, I really like Black Ops 2. And then Black Ops 3 I freaking loved. Advanced Warfare, Kevin Spacey being in it at the time and being like, whoa, cool, Kevin Spacey. But like, once it got more and more sci-fi, I got more and more into Call of Duty. And then I bought World War II. even though I knew that I wasn't gonna like that era, that setting, those weapons, I was like, yeah, but all my friends are gonna get it, and I got it, and I was like, yep, don't like it.
Really?
Yeah. So if
so
Black
it's
Ops
not
4
just
decides
like
to go sci-fi, I'll totally be down.
So it's not the fact that it's like modern day combat. It's just you prefer like fantasy sci-fi stuff.
Definitely.
Huh. So did you like Infinite Warfare?
Yeah, Infinite Warfare. I thought that was not my favorite, but I definitely liked it. And like,
yeah, no, I really liked
to be
that
fair,
one.
like I liked Modern Warfare 3 because that for me is when it just started getting ridiculous with its campaigns. Because I actually play the Call of Duty campaigns like more than I do multiplayer probably.
Yeah, me too.
So, yeah, like I said, the sci-fi stuff just made it more interesting than taking over a bunker.
Yeah, no, I play them every year for campaign, and then I'll just play the multiplayer if I have to. I mean, now I've become like the Call of Duty player. I've reviewed it for 2 years in a row, so like it's just kind of now I have to do every aspect of it. But I used to just kind of go for campaign like Ghosts. I only played the campaign and then just gave up because I just didn't care for anything else. But I've played them all since.
Games,
what?
Graydon, you write for Ground Punch, so
I do.
How did you get started with like writing games? Like, were they your first time writing for websites, or were you doing it beforehand?
They were my first website I've written for. I started doing a blog when I graduated 3 years ago. Or maybe a little. No, I started writing 5 years ago because I remember PAX East 2013 was like my first post I had done. Was like things I had seen there. And then I ended up just starting to review things. And I did some games, I did some movies, and then I did like lovely top 10 lists and stuff. And I don't know, I've always loved writing. I liked English class. I liked just putting my thoughts to paper and or to the internet.
So how did you come across Ground Punch, or did they find you? Like, are they friends that you know from like outside of the internet world?
No, I was in I was just scrolling through a Facebook group, and somebody had like posted their review, and I went and I read the review and liked it, and then I just went to the contact us or whatever and sent them an application. I think I had to send them a link to my own work, so I sent them a blog link, and then they wrote to me and said, hey, write us an original post. And I wrote about the Walking Dead Michonne miniseries, that 3-episode Telltale thing, and then I was brought on, and so I've been there for a year now. Yeah,
that's awesome.
A year and a half-ish. Yeah, I love it. I mean, there are times I lack a bit. Like recently, I haven't written as much, but no, we've definitely like revamped the site in a year, and it's really cool to watch it grow and become something. And like it started off with they had all come from another website and then kind of established their own as a group of people together, and then they brought on some new people, and now like through meetings and things we've got a Twitch channel going. We had some YouTube stuff, but I think we're like working on doing that again. Oh no, we do. They put up YouTube videos. But yeah, it's really in the past few months, it's become a lot more like something to really be proud of, because like we're all actually contributing and have like things going up regularly. We have a news team now. Like we've got a lot going on, and it's just a lot of fun to see it come together. To run a business, if you will.
That's all really freaking cool, dude. Like, I remember the first site I wrote for, and just like, it's a small site, but it's still something really cool, and like, you're there to see it grow into something like.
Yeah, like it's really a passion project. Just something everybody loves to do, expressing themselves in one entity and watching it build. And there is nothing like like my blog post would get a couple. I never understood how Blogger worked. Like you would get like, oh, you got a +1. That's like, I don't know what that means. but there's nothing like looking at your review that you just put up and then the next day seeing like it's got a couple hundred views and you're like, what the hell? Like so cool. people are reading my things. Like it's incredible.
Speaking of other things you are passionate about, one cool thing I wanted to ask you, you got a new job at a ticket thing for a theater?
Yeah. No, I'm an usher at the Opera House in Boston.
Okay. So, like, I always see you posting about musicals and plays and stuff going through.
Yeah.
So
I'm a nuisance.
No, I think it's cool, man. Like, you're the only person I know that's, like, super into theater in a way that I just don't know other people who are. So, what got you into that? Like, did you used to go to theater as a kid? Did you take theater in, like, middle school or anything? Like, what got you into that world?
I've always been into music. I've always been a musical person. I played trumpet from like 5th to 8th grade, and then I was in chorus from 4th to 8th grade. Well, through high school too. My high school just didn't have a band. But I did drama. I think I first started at the my town performing arts center. I did Peter Pan with them, and it was just kind of on a whim. Like, you get a flyer from school, and it's like, hey, if you want to pay a huge amount of money to be a part of this, and my family was like, sure. So I auditioned for that and got in, and that was really fun. And then the next year, like 6th through 8th grade, my school had its own play every year, and so I did Beauty and the Beast, I did Guys and Dolls, and I did Once Upon a Mattress. And
what is Once Upon a Mattress?
It's a musical about Princess and the Pea, you know, the fairy tale about the princess who has a bunch of mattresses and can't sleep because there's a pea underneath. But I had no idea what it was going into it, and then I ended up getting like one of the leads, and it was fun. But no, I always wished that there was drama in my high school, and some kid tried to start a drama club and it didn't take off, and I just kind of fell out of it, but I'd always been interested in it. And then a couple years ago, I guess a year and a half ago, because it was the day I sent my application to Ground Punch, I was on my way to like the first show I ever really saw at the Opera House, which was Jersey Boys. And then my family and I started going to some musicals, and my sister and I really fell headfirst into Hamilton.
I remember that.
Yeah. and then this past year, a girl had told me that I should listen to Les Mis, and I didn't really care to. Like, I liked musicals, but I was never like, oh, I have to be involved in all of them. Mm-hmm. And I was just home one day, and I ended up watching the movie that came out a few years ago, and absolutely loved it. And I bought it, and then I made my sister watch it, and then she and I have just listened nonstop. And I think I started listening to musicals like around this time last year, and I have heard like 90 of them in like a year. Like, I just listen. I know, I just look up the like Spotify is my best friend, and I'll just look up a cast recording and just listen to it, read along with the wiki, and then just that becomes my life for a couple weeks, and then I move on to the next. And so I had been going to the Opera House for a while, and my dad is a sleep tech, and he runs sleep studies, and he ran a sleep study for one of the ushers at the Opera House. Mm-hmm. And she was just like, oh, well, give him my number or my email and have him write to me. And I did some back and forth with her and then the head usher, and I just kind of fell into this job. And it's just absolutely a dream come true. It's amazing.
That's so great. I'm happy for you, dude. I'm glad you get to, like, just watch, like, shows now.
Thanks. Yeah, it's really cool. Like, I mean, it's just looking at people's tickets and leading them to their seat, but then you stand there on the side and watch a whole play for free. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, the two that I went to that I've been to so far. I had gone with my dad for like a Christmas present, and then my sister for a Christmas present. So it wasn't like something new. But coming up, like I'll be able to see all these ones that I wasn't interested in enough to buy a ticket,
and now
or
you're
they
gonna
were
be
way too
seeing
expensive.
them for
Like
free, essentially.
yeah, like Hamilton is way too expensive. We were never going to get to go to it, and now it's going to be in Boston for a month, and like I might see it a couple times. Like
That
it's just
so cool.
I know it's crazy,
All right,
but it's
so, like,
awesome.
With musicals and stuff, you've gotten into them. Like a lot of Disney movies now have been very musical centric. So like, what's your take on like the last few, like what, Frozen and Moana? Like I always hear about those soundtracks.
Frozen is probably my favorite thing in the whole world. I reviewed that for my own blog and wrote it like in the style of just kind of like a love letter to Frozen. Like I didn't do a whole like, oh, the graphics are like this, or the like the songs are like this. I just kind of was like, this is what it means to me. And I don't know, I saw it in theaters like 3 times. It was the first time I had ever found a movie illegally. And like I just
so you can watch
came
it again.
home. Yeah, I watched it I think like 10 more times while it was in theaters, but online. Like I just got addicted to it, and I still am to this day. And I don't know, it's just like the music in it is incredible, the story is just great, and then everyone just kind of,
because I've never seen it.
It might not be now because they're slowly pulling things off Netflix because they're making their Disney streaming thing.
Yeah.
Which I don't want to like, but they're doing like Star Wars series and Marvel series, and I kind of think I'll have to get it.
My weird thing is like, what's gonna happen with their darker stuff, like the Defenders universe? Like, I feel like that's really the only dark thing that Disney owns, and it's like, can they pull that from Netflix and be like, hey, if you want to watch season 3 of Daredevil, come over to the Disney app? Like, it just sounds
I feel
so
like
weird.
they might keep that kind of stuff, because even didn't like Jessica Jones start today, the 2nd season?
Yeah,
and
snuck up on me.
Yeah, so like I think they'll continue to do that, because Disney, even like the Universal Studios has that whole Marvel world, and they still have the rights to it, and like it's not in danger at all. Like Disney just kind of lets them have it, and so I think that they might do the same kind of thing and be like, oh, Netflix, this is your shit, like you can have this. But I think that it's really cool that they're going to bring some Star Wars stuff to it and Marvel things and just have it be this. Like in the beginning I hated it. I was like, why are you going to charge me extra for just to see Disney things? But now that Disney owns so much, I saw something the other day that said like FX, which I didn't think Disney owned, but it does. Like, they think they're gonna make the Disney service rival Netflix because that's its darker side. Like bringing things like Archer or the new Sons of Anarchy things that are coming, like having
FX
that
has
on
the
a streaming
shows to
platform.
like have its own app if it wanted to.
It does, doesn't it? Isn't FXX or whatever is like its
Yeah,
own app?
Yeah, it's weird that because FX is essentially a weird, edgy extension of Fox. So, like, any failed shows or shows that they wouldn't normally put on, like, the Fox network with, like, The Simpsons and stuff, they'll be like, throw a couple F-bombs and put it on FX. And now they kind of have, like, a bloated, channel slate that they made FXX. So, plus I remember, like, all the movies that used to air on FX was always, like, the slightly newer movies, like, wow, this movie's only 2-3 years old and it's already on TV. So
yeah, or like
whatever
just edgier
studios they're with, they can probably stream their movies there too.
Yeah, so I think it'll work out okay. But yeah, I mean, yeah. So Frozen, I love. Moana, I love. I didn't want to like Moana because it seemed like they were taking it in a different way when they were just like, oh, let's make a princess, but she's Hawaiian, and then like just kind of. It just seemed like they were just trying to shake things up in a way that didn't need to be done. But then the music is done by the guy who wrote Hamilton. So I went and listened to the album of Moana before even seeing it. And then we ended up, I like had to go see it. and now I've fallen in love with that too. Coco, which just came out, the music was done by the people who did Frozen, because now they kind of reuse everybody.
Because they're like, damn, this made us famous, this made us popular, just keep doing it.
Yeah, yeah. And then when you think about it, it's so weird. Like musicals, the history of musicals is interesting, because people all the songwriters and stuff will branch out and do tons of things. Like people who, the songwriter for like Little Shop of Horrors wrote the songs for Tangled, and the songwriters for Frozen is a couple and wife. The husband wrote songs with Trey Parker and Matt Stone for Book of Mormon.
Oh
and they
my
did South
god,
Park.
that's hilarious.
And like it's just this weird world of like but all of that, like Frozen, possibly Disney's biggest success, is written by a guy who wrote Book of Mormon with South Park creators. Like every song has like an F-bomb in it. Mm-hmm. And they took this guy and were like, let's put him on something for children. It's just like this really weird
if kids ever want to do like
circle.
If kids ever want to do like a school project on that specific person, and they're like, they look him up on IMDb, it's like, what's Book of Mormon? And then they YouTube it. It's just like, oh no.
But yeah, I don't know. It's just it's a crazy history of musicals, and I love that I've gotten my sister into it, because she's 13, and she's just like it gives her something to. I mean, she's done school projects on musical stuff, and we've gone to musicals, just the two of us, to like it gives us something to bond over, and it's just like a really fun, like it's not just this oh you like musicals, you're gay kind of thing. Like it's this actual like cool culture that I enjoy being a part of, and
that's a cool culture that you can be a part of out there too, because like if you were here in the South or whatever and you were into musicals, you would get those stupid comments, unfortunately.
Right. Yeah. But no, I like doing it. And then we've gotten into playbills, like just the books that you get at a play that has like the cast in it and the musicals and stuff. Like we've gotten into like trading them with other people. Like there's this whole like market we use Instagram, and we'll like just trade playbills with other people and like amass this collection of like through the years. Like I have books from the 80s of just like different casts and different like covers, and it's just like this fun, like this is the community. The theater community is like a crazy, I mean it's a very open, welcoming group of people that I love different groups of people. Like you get your Facebook groups with.
It's all really cool. Like I had no idea that this like community existed.
Yeah,
of, like,
it's really deep. I mean, it's like as
kind of thing.
Yeah, like as deep as you can get into gaming and or movies or entertainment, or you're a Star Wars nerd or whatever you are. Like you can get into that just as deep with theater.
Okay, weird question. Is there like a theater convention or like an equivalent where like they make announcements or anything like that for plays?
There is a Broadway Con, which is in like February, and they have, I think it is in New York, because that's Broadway. And
Con. So cool.
Yeah. And they have like people from the shows will come and do signings and pictures, and but like announcements, there's no like E3 where it's like, oh, this is where you're getting all the next year's stuff.
I feel like it all just kind of happens as it's happening. Like I've heard like the Lion King casting, like it'll just come out one day and just be like, hey, this is the cast for Lion King. So
right.
That's what it's
and
like
then,
for plays.
And theaters will plays start all over the place and then make their way to Broadway. So you'll have like Frozen the musical just started on Broadway like this week. And it started originally in, I think, like Colorado, which is also, I think, where SpongeBob was in Chicago.
Yeah, I saw the SpongeBob musical. I was really weirded out by that.
Which is surprisingly very good. It's we were talking about Portal before. You know the song at the end of Portal that GLaDOS sings?
Yeah. This is a
in the credits? Yeah. The guy who wrote that song wrote the opening song and another one for the SpongeBob musical. So, like... And the SpongeBob musical is pretty rad.
I'm going to use a lot
The SpongeBob musical is pretty cool because it's every song is like written by an actual artist. I think like U2 wrote the SpiderMan musical, all that music, but they wrote a song. David Bowie wrote a song before he died, like worked on a song for it. Like SpongeBob is just made up of songs by other people. Crazy. But no, currently, or what just closed in Boston, which I worked a couple times, was Waitress, which is a musical. And it started at the like local theater that Harvard has, and then it went to Broadway, and now it's touring and went back to Boston. And like there was this big thing like, oh, our Broadway baby has now come back home to us. Like it's just every different little theaters and play. Like there's one in New Jersey that's famous that always has like big Broadway shows will come out of there, but that also goes to the playbill thing. So people will look for a playbill from when it was back at Harvard, and then when it's in Boston, and then when it's in Broadway, and like there's this massive like search for every gotta have every playbill, like every cast. Yeah. Like it's massive, but
So can you tell me this, because you seem to know a lot about theater? How much do you know of the SpiderMan musical thing? Turn Off the Dark, I think is what it was supposed to be.
Yeah, Turn Off the Dark. It's actually really an okay music. Like it's very U2 feeling. The music in it is very like that alternative rock. It's still the most expensive musical, which is probably due to the lots of injuries that it caused, because it was eventually forced to close because it like so many people got hurt.
It's like not only do you have to be a good actor and singer, but you also need to know how to like maneuver stunt work.
Yeah,
on a freaking
do your
harness.
own stunts. And the thing, I had done this. We were researching one time because my mom was like, "You don't get paid very much to be an actor, do you?" And we looked it up, and we found that like you get paid way more to do stunt work. And like imagine how many people in a Spider-Man musical would have to do like aerial stunts, and how much money is going into their pay for that, and then to pay them off when they get injured all the time. Plus, the set design was pretty good for it. There was a lot of, like, because they had, like, basically the whole Sinister Six in it. So there's, like, a lot of, like, Green Goblin makeup. Carnage was in it. Doc Ock was in it. It was pretty...
Hear Carnage sing.
I think Kraven, like, maybe Rhino, but, like, a lot of work and production went into that, and it was on Broadway for maybe a year, but it did a surprisingly good amount of like previews and shows and did okay. But yeah, it is the most expensive musical to date because of all of its mishaps.
I didn't even know that it like actually saw the light of day. Every time I heard about it was always like people getting injured, and I always thought it was like before official release. So I thought this whole time it never came out. I'm gonna have to actually like look into it now because I want to see what Carnage looks like on stage.
It was always breaking, but I remember like it did do like a news circuit at the end of the day, because the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade is when they always do like the new musicals. They'll bring a song, each musical will bring a song to it, and I think they did a performance there. So they took it seriously for a while before it just ended up like killing everybody. I don't think anyone died. I know somebody died in Les Mis, like in the Les Mis revival. One of the guys got killed in a stunt.
What? Oh shit! What happened? Like the carriage car?
I think he just fell. I remember it happening long before I got into Les Mis, so I don't even remember like what character he was. But they try to do some different things. Like at the end, one of the characters dies, and he falls. And there's different ways that they'll do that stunt in different productions, and sometimes they'll actually have, like, the backdrop fall away, and then it looks like they're falling, or they'll actually have them fall on wires. So it might have been a thing like that where he just kind of, unfortunately, tumbled. But it was a big deal, because he was, like, a pretty young actor, and he's just gone too soon because of Les Mis. So theater is a dangerous game. It can be.
My last theater question for you is, what's one play that you want to see really bad that you haven't seen yet?
Well, the cool thing is that like a lot of the plays will go on tour. so I've been able to see a lot of them, and a lot will be with the actual cast. Like, I would love to, if I had a time machine, probably the thing I would do is go and watch Hamilton with its original cast, just because that play has gotten so big now. It has a production in Broadway, Chicago, and the West End in London, and then it's got its national tour. And none of them are the original cast at all, and I can't really imagine knowing that album so well and, like, so much about it. Like, my sister got so much into Hamilton, she knew, like, every ensemble actor's name and, like, what they did and what show they've gone to since. And so Hamilton was, like, a big thing that I would love to see, and I'm fortunate I'm going to get to see it. But currently I'm really addicted to Anastasia, which is based on that old, not Disney princess movie.
Oh yeah,
the 20th Century Fox one. Yeah, there's no bat in this one. There's really no bad guy in this one. Like, it had this whole supernatural plot with Rasputin and everything, and, like, he's not even in it. But it's really, really good, and it's coming around on tour, so I think I'll get to see that next year too. But there's a lot of stuff. Like, I just get kind of wrapped up in what's the shows that are out now and what's on tour, and then you go back in time and see, like, oh, these shows are really good. I wish they would revive these because they do revivals, and I don't know. I can't really pick one big one that I would go see because there's just so many that are so awesome in their own ways. But I highly recommend getting into theater if that's something that, like, it interests you at all. Like, it's really, really cool.
It was like a stage performance thing. It was the Shen Yun. Have you heard
What
of
is that?
Shen Yun.
No.
It was just like this, like, Chinese style opera, I guess. It was like,
okay.
And it was just a really colorful, weird thing with Chinese music, and I was just like, my girlfriend brought me here, so.
Oh, yeah. No, there's different plays and stuff, and then, like, in the opera house too, like, we'll get ballets, they'll get actual concerts. I don't know if they get, like, Cirque du Soleils or anything there, but there's tons of different.
Totally fun fact for today as, like, a time capsule. Childish Gambino tickets went on sale, and I freaking bought them, and I'm so excited for that concert.
Oh, you bought those?
Hell yeah. Like, I was just telling, like, my manager the other day, I was like, the next dream concert for me, after seeing Gorillaz last year, like, that was literally, like, since I was, like, 12, I'm like, I want to see Gorillaz. So, the only second show to be like, man, the only band that would really rival Gorillaz would be Childish Gambino, but he, like, retired that moniker after that last album. He's like, I'm done, and he's doing Atlanta, and now he's solo, so I was like, he's just done with music. And then Zach posted something, and I was like, get the fuck out. And, like, no hesitation, I was just, like, looking up, like, not coupon codes, but, like, the pre-sale access code or whatever.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I'm buying these fucking tickets. And I did. So, I'm super excited for that.
Nice. I can't really get into him. I mean, I like his acting, but now isn't he going to go more into music, or is he getting rid of music?
Supposedly he was getting rid of music like that. I could see him stopping music because the internet was a really good rap album, and he, like, you kind of give the sense that in that album he was, like, weaning off it as much as I love it. And then going into his newest album, like, it's obviously, like, no rapping at all. Like, it's just all, like, smooth, mellow, weird psychedelic sounds. And then he announced that he's like, yeah, I'm done with music now. That was fun. Like,
and then he announced he's going on tour.
Yeah. So I'm like, I don't care if you change your mind or what, but I'm just glad you're doing music one more time. I mean, shit, I thought the Gorillaz were done.
Yeah, no, that was crazy. And they're making another album, right?
Yeah.
Like next year or this year?
This year.
That's great.
Man, another tour I'm probably gonna fucking spend money on is Arctic Monkeys.
I don't know anything about them.
What? Oh, dude, I'll introduce you to Arctic Monkeys. They're super good. But supposedly they're gonna have an album this year too.
I saw my first legitimate rap show last year. I went to Logic at the same place you saw Gorillaz, that Blue Hills Pavilion.
Oh yeah.
Right, that's where it was, right?
Yeah.
And he's awesome. I think he's dropping a new album like randomly tonight.
Oh yeah, which is so weird. It was Bobby Tarantino too.
Yeah, my friend got me into him, and I didn't love him at the beginning, but then his last album was just incredible, and so I went with him to that concert, which was, I mean, if you could tone down the weed smell a little bit, it would have been a little better. But that place they might be able to work supposedly, because like you can eventually, the more shows you do, you can jump around to different venues in Boston. And I was talking to another usher about that place, and they were like, yeah, it's not, like, it just doesn't feel safe. Like, you can bring legitimate fire into that place, like, you can bring real lighters, you can bring weed, you could probably bring guns. Like, it's just a crazy place, but it was an awesome show.
I saw MGMT just last night.
Yeah, how was that?
That was a lot of fun. It was, like, such a last-minute decision, because it was, like, I looked them up and I was like, holy crap, their tickets aren't sold out. And it happens to fall on a day that I'm off. And I still have income tax money, so I was like...
Wow, you just went on a whim?
Yeah, it was just $60. And I was like I went by myself, like no friends or anything. I was like, I'm willing to just chill in the crowd and listen to music.
I don't know anything about them either. Didn't they have a song, like, that was kind of a hit a little while ago?
Yeah, off their newest album. They got like 2 songs that are pretty popular, and then the other 2 albums in between are kind of forgettable for people, even though I love it. But their first, obviously, 2 hits, Electric Feel and Kids. Let's go ahead and wrap this show up here, Graydon.
Alright. Let's do it.
I also realized like 10 minutes into the show that I didn't do like a good intro where it's like, oh, where can you find us? This is where you can listen to the show, so...
Oh, well, we plugged the holes at the end.
That's right. Always plug the holes in the end.
Yeah. God.
So you're the guest. I want you to get your stuff out there, like who you write for, what to do, where to follow, and all that jazz.
Okay. Well, I write for groundpunch.com. Ground punch, like punching the ground. My Twitter, I think, is Graytlo, Graytlo 777, but I like never use it. Like the main place you can probably find me is just keep an eye on the website. I don't like really Twitch stream. I don't do much to put my name out there, but we do. Like Ground Punch as a whole does Twitch stream. Go follow that. Go follow the YouTube channel. Go follow our Instagram. I believe we're on there. Twitter.
Yep,
it's all just Ground Punch everywhere. Yep.
Punch all the grounds, everybody. You can
punch every ground.
Follow me at Wicked Pixelated on Instagram, Twitter, all that fun stuff. Facebook.com/groups/Wicked Pixelated is where we post the Wicked Pixelated podcast, which is currently on hold. But until then, you can listen to this awesome show. What is this, a crossover episode? I always have to do it with like that like shoulder shrug. Like I have to always shrug my shoulders when I say that.
I think it was indeed a crossover episode in the end.
It was.
We found a crossover episode. Yep.
We crossed over our interests with video games and theater.
Yeah. There was a nice blending of the two.
VR and Frozen. This is gonna be a fun thumbnail.
Wow. Let's just throw everything at it.
But yeah, so this is the new show that I'm doing. So hopefully you like this first show. You can listen to it on SoundCloud, which means it'll also be on the iTunes app. It'll be right under the Wicked Pixelated banner. I'm not going to make a whole new account just for this podcast. So just look up Wicked Pixelated and you'll find us on there. It'll be on the YouTube channel. I'll have a thumbnail up to go on Instagram at Wicked Pixelated. Blah, blah, blah.
You've always said, like, from the very beginning, things like, oh, for people who listen on iTunes, and I'm sitting there like, I listen on iTunes. Like, I'm always like, I hope you put it up on iTunes because that's where I go. Like, is it a thing that people don't listen there? Like, I don't know if I've ever been to SoundCloud. I just will go to iTunes.
Well, see, like, it's weird. So in order to get put onto iTunes, you have to have an RSS feed. So
okay.
I post on SoundCloud because if you have an account, a premium account at least, on SoundCloud, you get an RSS feed link. So by me posting on there, it allows it to appear on iTunes. And once you appear on iTunes, you show up on other like third-party apps like Podcast Beyond app and stuff like that. Podbean.
Huh. Podbean. Then go hang out on iTunes with me. That's where I'll be.
And review. I think people review stuff on iTunes? I think.
Yeah, you can do that. Like, give them a 5-star and say, "Hey, I like that podcast."
I'm gonna do that because I always say that people should review the podcast. I don't think I've reviewed my own podcast.
I'll write a Ground Punch article about this one podcast. No, you deserve 5 stars. You put a lot of work into this. Even when it doesn't work out or you miss a week, you're doing a lot behind the scenes, and I'm proud of your effort.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate you being one of the 3 listeners. I like that joke. I hope that joke never dies. So this has been, what is this, a crossover episode? And this was Graydon. Thank you for coming by.
Thank you for having me.
And goodbye.
Bye.